Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Susan Lane.
Number 2.
My name is Susan Lane.
Number 3.
My name is Susan Lane.
Only one of these people is the real Susan Lane and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now let's meet our panel. Actor and raconteur Orson Bean. Former Miss America Mary Ann Mobley. Star of the new feature film Popcorn, Tom Villard. And to tell the truth's very own, Kitty Carlisle. Here's the host of To Tell the Truth, Gordon Elliott.
Thank you, and welcome, and good morning, panel.
Good morning, good morning.
Oh, Kitty, you look so beautiful.
Oh, thank you very
But
much.
what a classy panel we have. Orson, welcome back. Orson, please, welcome him back. 7 years. You and Kitty were two of the highlights of the show in its previous life.
She took me out of the gutter. I was nothing when I came to her.
Neither one of them have changed a bit.
Now, Mary Ann, would you believe it? Yesterday, I interviewed your husband on radio, and I only found out there that it was, in fact, Kitty Carlisle and her husband, Moss, who voted you Miss America in 1959.
Well, don't put all the blame on them. They were both judges, and I was very fortunate to have had the chance to meet both of them.
Well, you've only gone out of sight, and I'm sure you'll be a great asset. Thank you, and welcome to the panel. All righty. And Tom, lovely to see you again.
Thank you, Gordon.
Lovely to see you. Let's get to the first story. Presented by our first team of challengers, all three of whom claim to be Susan Lane. Now, if you could, this is her story, and please read along with me. I, Susan Lane, design wedding dresses. My gowns are featured in films and television, and I have made dresses for Christina Ferrari, Delta Burke, and Leslie Ann Warren. Now let's take a look at some of my gowns. I specialize in period creations, such as this 1920s design for the jazz bride, in soft satin overlaid with imported lace and daring to reveal the ankle. Another popular style is this romantic Victorian gown in blush chiffon with lace accents, designed to be handed down to future generations. But rather than a family heirloom, my 1990 wedding dress is completely recyclable. It's made of paper, garbage bags, coffee filters, foil, and dental floss. In today's world, recycling is an absolute necessity, and my design proves that some things are prettier the second time around. Signed, Susan Lane. Welcome, challengers, and we'll find out more about this romantic designer and her designs after this. Welcome back to Tell the Truth. All right, panel. These three people all claim to be Susan Lane, who designed the first recyclable wedding dress. Let's start the questioning on this one with Kitty Carlisle.
Oh, thank you. Number 1, do you know who Priscilla is?
No, I don't.
Number 2, how much would the most expensive dress cost?
Oh, $10,000, $20,000.
Good Lord. Number 3, how long does it take to make a very expensive dress?
It would depend on the trim.
And number 2, tell me when you have the recyclable one, you know, sometimes the wedding dresses can be used, let's say, for less formal occasions. Does the skirt come off and reveal short shorts or something?
No, but you can cut it off. It's non-woven fabric.
Thank you. Number 1, tell me where the coffee
It comes off
filters-
to reveal nappy wipes, I think. Tom.
Number 3, with the recyclable one, are there matching bridesmaid gowns that are made out of, like, paper towels and things? Or...
Anything you'd like.
So you can do the whole, all the way
Yes.
down the line.
Yes.
Number 1, how does one find you? Do people come from all over the world? Do they call you?
I have a shop in Toluca Lake.
And number 2, what was the most outrageous request?
People are wearing black wedding dresses.
Have you, number 2, have you?
Portent of doom. Mary Ann.
Well, it's been so long since I got married. 23 years.
Really?
Haven't killed him yet. Number 3, did you design Delta Burke's wedding dress when she married Gerald McCraney?
No, I did not.
Number one, did you design Delta Burke's wedding dress for Gerald McCraney?
No, I did not.
Number two?
No, I did not.
Uh-huh. I must have read my notes wrong here. It said here, designing dresses for Delta Burke. All right. Number two, what dress did Christina Ferrara use at a wedding?
She used a 20s style dress, off-white.
Okay. Number three, who is Priscilla of Boston?
I don't know.
Tough questions you've been asking,
Yes.
Marianne. Orson,
I
come
want to
in there.
congratulate you. You have elicited an enormous sum of information. Number one now.
I'm just waiting for you, honey.
Bless you, darling. Number one now, when you design a dress for Delta Burke, would you have to charge her a little more on the grounds that it took extra fabric? Well, no.
I
that's a cheap-
disqualify that question,
All right,
judges.
I'm
No.
sorry. I withdraw the question. Number three, now, the dress made of garbage bags and dental floss, wouldn't the bride look down and see the groom flossing with the wedding gown? Who would want such a thing? Kind of a person that's married on a parachute jump or something? Or?
On a budget.
On a budget. I see. Number two, do you agree with that someone would do that to save dough?
Not necessarily.
Because
I think it's,
what would you charge for an eccentric outfit like that?
a dress would run like that about $180.
Yeah. Number one, what's the...
$180, that's not too bad. A lot of nice bouquet and athletic support, so I think you'd be interested in Orson. Time's up, panel. Time to vote for either number one, number two, or number three. Our team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote with a guarantee of $1,000. And if the panel is fooled completely, the team of challengers wins $3,000. Panel, are you ready to cast your ballots? Yes. Well, Kitty, could you begin?
Well, I couldn't vote for one of three because Priscilla is indeed a very famous lady who makes wedding dresses. And number two, as the mother of a former bride, I think I would like very much to have a dress that you would make for under $200.
All right, Kitty. Tom.
It was that price tag. I thought, what a humane act, because I only hear scary prices about wedding dresses, and then people are stuck. I think you're a lovely person, and so I voted for you as well.
Well, Marianne.
Well, I think you are all three very lovely. I was amazed that you didn't know who Priscilla of Boston was, since you make so many wedding gowns, but I, again, voted for number two because I felt she was very knowledgeable on the subject, and I thought she was evading some of the questions.
Okay, is this going to be a clean sweep, Orson?
The truth is, I know nothing about the subject. Ask me about animal husbandry, I could have spotted her. I voted for number one just on a hunch.
Really? Okay. Looks like the votes are all in, with one vote for number one, 3 votes for number two, and number three. Pretty miserable performance, hey? Okay, now for the moment of truth. I'm sorry, hey, you could be the real one. Wouldn't I look silly? Okay, will the real Susan Lane please stand up? Oh. Well, Susan, I've got to ask you, what was the dress you designed for Delta Burke? It's in your affidavit.
No, it wasn't a wedding dress.
What was it?
It was a dress that she wore on the show.
And what size was it?
That's confidential.
Oh. Okay, you can
It was
whisper.
not that large, however.
Okay, it wasn't? Okay. I want to thank you all. The imposters, number one, who are you and what do you really do?
Well, my name is Cynthia Leah Clark, and I'm a certified paramedic.
And number three?
My name is Arlene Burdett, and I'm a truck driver for Vaughn's. I've been driving for Vaughn's for
Oh,
years.
fantastic. Well, we really appreciate it. Thanks for delivering the goods for us today, anyway. There was one incorrect vote only, so your team will receive the $1,000 guarantee, and thank you very much for joining us here today on To Tell the Truth. After these few words, we'll be right back with a young man who had a hair-raising accident right after this. Welcome back to Tell the Truth. Let's meet our next team of challengers.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Adam Moore.
Number two.
My name is Adam Moore.
Number three.
My name is Adam Moore.
All right, panel. All these 3 people claim to be the real Adam Moore, and here is his story, if you could read along with me on the affidavit. I, Adam Moore, am called the Broken Arrow Boy 3 years ago, at Cub Scout camp, I had a terrible accident. I fell onto an arrow and it lodged in my brain. I tried to pull the arrow out before I lost consciousness. I was rushed to a nearby hospital where doctors removed it. They said it would be days before they'd know the extent of the brain damage. My parents wondered if I would live through the night, but I was very lucky. Then began 3 years of difficult operations and rehabilitation. I never thought I would read or write again. But guess what? I've written and illustrated my own book, Broken Arrow Boy, signed Adam Moore. All righty. Couple of sharp-looking young men. Let's start the questioning with Orson Bean. Orson?
Thank you. Well, it's really terrifying to realize that 2 of these fine, clean-cut, handsome young men are dirty liars. Number 3, do you feel that God had a special reason for keeping you alive? I mean, that's a miracle that you lived, isn't it? Number 3?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Have you felt differently about yourself ever since that miracle happened?
Yes.
Yeah, in what way? I'll ask that of number 2. Do you feel differently about yourself since it happened?
I got a better understanding of how handicapped people feel.
Yeah, and number 1, let me ask you, all right, let me ask you another question. How much actual physical pain was there? They say, did you feel a lot of physical pain?
Well, when it entered my eye, I felt a lot of pain then, but I don't remember the rest of it because I was unconscious.
Number 3, did it enter your eye, too?
Sorry about that.
You can answer number 3. Never mind that, Bell.
Now, come along. Just settle down. Somebody, have this man removed. Yeah. Marianne. Marianne, your turn.
Number 1, what is the highest award a Boy Scout can earn?
I don't remember because I only was in Cub Scouts.
You were in Cub Scouts. Number 2, which is the highest award you can win in Cub Scout?
In Cub Scouts, it's the Arrow of Light, which is the Weeblos Award.
And number 3, where was this camp where your accident happened?
It was in Tulsa.
And how far were you, number 3, I'm sorry, from the nearest hospital?
I was about 5 miles away.
Okay, moving along to Tom.
Number 3, there's an animal that the Cub Scouts, you know, what animal is the cub? It's an animal cub for the Cub Scouts, the whole organization.
I think we've got the picture, Tom.
What sort of an animal is that? That was an articulate question.
It's all right.
I'm not sure.
Number 2?
Well, 30 seconds for one question. You've set a record.
It was a good question.
It was. Kitty.
Number 2, who found you?
Actually, the kids in my troop and my camp counselor found me.
And number 3, how did you happen to fall? Did it go into your eye as well, number 3?
Yes, it did.
And how did you happen to fall on it?
I was retrieving my arrows from the firing range, and I tripped or fell or fall, or tripped or slipped on something, and I put my hands up forward to break my fall, and one happened to slip into my eye.
Thank you. Number 1, what did you have to relearn first?
Talking.
Talking first. And
Sorry, Kitty, we've got to leave it there. Time's up, and it's time to vote for either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote with a guarantee of $1,000. And if the panel is filled completely, the team will receive $3,000. And panel, if you're ready to cast your votes, Orson.
I'm glad to see we're voting from right to left. That way the show can be shown in Israel. Thank you. I'm going to vote for number 1. I don't really know, but the other 2 look a little sneaky to me. I can't figure number 1
All right.
being a liar.
Marianne Mobley.
Well, only having one daughter, I'd like to claim all 3. I voted for number 1 because I felt as though that he was sort of teasing me a little when he didn't give the answer about what the highest award would be.
Okay. And Tom, your thoughts?
I thought number 1 because of the way he said talking. He knew. And
Okay.
He knew things. He was the
only one who answered your question. Okay, Kitty.
He answered really quickly, though. He didn't have to think about it. You know, I blurted out like I blurt. You know,
All right.
He's a blurter. We had that in common.
I understand.
You know.
She didn't reject you when she left home. Don't worry. Kitty.
I didn't vote for number 1. I think he very well may be the real one. And I didn't vote for number 3. I think he's a little too young. I voted for number 2 because if he was a Cub Scout and he was 3 years being rehabilitated and then he wrote a book, that takes time. And he looks like the oldest of the 3.
Okay, well, the votes are all in, as you can see. 3 votes for number 1, 1 vote for number 2, and no votes For number 3, let's find out who the real Broken Arrow boy is. Will the real Adam Moore please stand up? Oh. Do you see this panel? That is the book that he's written. Now, I've got to ask you, Adam, who got the idea for this cover? It's terrible.
It was my idea.
Who did?
It was my idea.
Really?
Yes.
What, did you want a sponsorship from Arrowhead Mineral Water or something? It's fantastic. But why did you want to write a book?
Well, it was an assignment for 4th grade, and I thought I'd like to make something good out of my bad
Well, you
experience.
certainly have. Not many assignments get published nationally. Congratulations, Adam Moore. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
being with us. Number 1, 3 votes. What's your real name? What do you really do?
My name is David Petlin. I'm a 10th grader, and I'm the youngest of 10 children.
10. Golly. Number 2, 1 vote. What's your real name? What do you do?
My name is Lonnie Bustrom, and I'm a 9th grader at Huntington Beach High School.
Well, here's something all for your college scholarship. You've stumped our panel. You've done tremendously, so your team will receive $3,000. And thank you all for being today with us on To Tell the Truth. And we've added something new to To Tell the Truth. It's called One-on-One. We'll be back to play it with someone from our studio audience after this. Welcome back to the program. Now it's time to play One-on-One with someone from our studio audience. Burton, who do you have for us today?
Well, today, Gordon, I'd like you to meet Mary Keefe from St. Louis, Missouri.
Hello, Mary.
Hi, Gordon.
I love your earrings.
Oh, thank you.
You must have known you're going to be on television. Here's your chance to play one-on-one. I want you to meet a lady who has 2 stories to tell you. Now, her name is Cleo Chandler. Welcome, Cleo. Now, as I said, Cleo is going to tell you 2 stories, only one of which is the truth. If you can spot the true story, you'll win $500. So, Cleo, what's your first story?
I'm the nation's oldest driver to win a world's champion race.
In a drag race.
In a drag race.
Okay. Now, that may or may not be the truth. So let's try story number 2. Cleo.
I'm a professional chicken
Sexer.
I separate the boys' chicken from the girl chicks.
Okay, all right. Now, panel, to help Karen win that $500, you're each going to ask 1 question about both of those stories. So let's start with story number 1, that of the drag racer, Kitty.
A question in 2 parts. How fast do you go, and is your car souped up? I go about 102 miles on a quarter of a mile.
And is it souped? What do you reckon? Tom.
Have you ever wiped out on the track? Had a horrible accident?
No.
No? Good. I'm glad.
Mary Ann.
What does the term slipstreaming mean?
I don't know.
Orson.
Drag racing, and she doesn't know about slips. Now, I knew about a car that was so souped up it ran on Campbell's chicken noodle. However, my question is, on the subject of spark plugs, how many spark plugs would you use in the course of a race?
8.
8 spark plugs.
Okay, now, Karen, you've heard the questions about Cleo's first story. Now story number 2, that of the chicken sexer, and Kitty.
Mrs. Chandler, how can you tell? You have to turn the chicken and look at the
Which
saddle.
end?
The bottom end.
Kitty, do you really need to know all this?
To
Now,
see
Tom.
which is yaller. The male is more yaller than the
Well, there you go. It's a colour
female.
situation. Tom?
Cleo, are there any hermaphrodite chickens with both parts?
Oh, don't ask questions like that, Tom. Now, look, what's poor Cleo going to say about an hermaphrodite chicken? And who would want one anyway? I disqualify you. Moving along. Mary Ann. Come along.
At what age do you have to decide whether it's a male or female?
about 1 day old.
Okay, and Orson.
Now, is it true you separate the boy chicks from the girl chicks? That sounds so cruel.
All you do is look.
Well, I suppose that's
You might have said that yourself.
This is your thing.
Okay, now, Karen, you've heard the cross-examination, as confusing as it was. Is Cleo, in your opinion, a drag racer, or is she a chicken sexer?
I'd say a chicken sexer.
Okay, now, if you're right, hang on, you win $500. Cleo, what is your true story?
My true story, I am a drag racer.
Well, there you go, Karen. I'm sorry, but we do have a very nice gift for you. Thanks for playing one-on-one with us today. Now, Cleo, for stumping the panel, you receive $1,000. But can I ask, if you don't mind, how old are you?
I was 75 in May.
75. When did you start racing drag races?
I was 68 years old when I started racing.
68. Life begins at the throttle at 68. Thank you very much, Cleo, for being with us. We'll be right back after these few words. Well, panel, that is it for this edition of To Tell the Truth. We'll see you again next time. Cheerio.
New Year's Eve, Dick Clark rocks GSN with a 6-hour marathon of the $100,000 Pyramid. Yahoo! The $100,000 Pyramid Marathon from noon to 6 p.m. December 31st, only on GSN.
GSN.